this contemporary ballot era Hall of Fame that Barry Bonds is on the ballot for. They're going to vote on it during the winter meetings, December 4th, I believe. I never heard of anything like this before this came out the other day. I've never in my life heard about the contemporary ballot era Hall of Fame. What the hell is that?
It's basically guys from a certain generation that can get voted in after their now 10 years. It used to be 15 years on the ballot. And I'm looking at this is who's on this ballot. It's 8 players. And so you've got Albert Bell, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Don Mattingly, Fred McGriff, Dale Murphy, Rafael Palmeiro, and Curt Schilling. And it features candidates whose player contributions are primarily from 1980 until current.
Okay. I've never heard anything like it. Now, Albert Bell is a sneaky under. Albert Bell's really good.
Okay, I'm glad you brought up Albert Bell.
But Barry Bonds.
How many career home runs for Albert Bell?
Oh, he had over 500.
No, 381.
That's it?
Yeah.
He
kind of got blackballed out of the game because he was a bad dude.
Who's the guy who he just knocked out on the base path?
Yeah, that was second base. When he was
second base
with
the Brewers.
The American League Brewers.
Yeah.
Let me give
Milwaukee County. What was it? Milwaukee County. I forget the name of the stadium.
It was where Major League the movie was filmed.
Yeah,
it was actually at the old Milwaukee County Stadium or whatever the heck it was. From 93 to 97, all right? This guy hit an average. This was his averages, okay? From 93 to 97 for Albert Bell. 124 RBIs, 40 jacks, and, a batting average of 306.
He only hit 381 home runs?
He averaged 150 games a year.
He only hit 381?
I
swear to God, I thought he hit over 500.
He was kicked out of the game, essentially, at 33 years old in 2000. Remember, he had the cork bat.
Yeah.
He had a lot of the allegations of steroids. My favorite card that I have to this day is the one where he's got the Jerry curl dripping, and it's Joey Albert Bell.
And is the gold cap there, the gold tooth?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He had the gold tooth, remember?
Yeah, I'm all about the cards. You know that.
Yeah, I love the baseball cards, too, but the gold tooth
of course
was special. 381 home runs is sick.
Albert Bell's he's one of my favorite. One of the most feared players in the game.
No doubt. If you hit him with a pitch, you had to fear for your life.
He'd have the bat right here, and he'd pull it back and cock it. He was amazing.
Here's one of those Cleveland teams.
You got Bonds, Clemens, Mattingly, McGriff, Dale Murphy, Rafael Palmeiro, and Curt Schilling.
As you just mentioned, from 26 to 30. Gosh, he hit 202 home runs.
He's ridiculous.
He is ridiculous.
Come on, B. I'm telling you, he had a 5-year run that was as good as any. And by the way, go back to those Indian teams, all right, of the mid to late 90s.
Jim Thome, Roberto Alomar, Omar Vizquel, a young Manny Ramirez.
Yeah.
Young Manny Ramirez.
Sandy Alomar,
yep, no doubt.
Jack McDowell.
Yep.
I mean,
who? Dennis Martinez was a pitcher.
El Presidente.
Jim
Charles
Plunkett.
Yeah.
Jim Plunkett.
And he had
not Jim Plunkett. That's the quarterback.
No.
Who's Eric Plunk was the reliever.
Eric Plunk, yes.
Remember the reliever with the
Absolutely.
glasses? Yeah. That was great. That was a great team.
Carlos Baerga.
Oh, he was special. Then he had 49 home runs with the White Sox as a 31-year-old.
Come on,
49, 37, 23 with the Baltimore Orioles. Wow.
As we're talking about Barry Bonds, and I think this is and Willie Mays doc, because the Willie Mays doc was released last night on HBO Max. If you haven't seen it, it's called The Say Hey Kid or something like that. It's incredible. It's on the main page when you sign in. But I want to play the sound of Willie Mays talking about Barry Bonds getting in, and it felt like to me when you watch the doc, and we all knew this, Barry's godfather is Willie Mays. It felt like it was Willie as an old man pleading that this is a man, Barry, who's like a son to him, and I want him to get inducted while I'm alive. That's what it felt like.
When people talk about,
play it again.
When people talk about, who's the best ball player in the world? I don't care. Give somebody honor that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. On behalf of all the people in San Francisco and all over the country, vote this guy in. He is very, very important for me. Thank you very much.
By the way, we missed Kenny Lofton according to the Xfinity Bubble text
him
line.
and Marquise Grissom got traded for each other. I believe when they won the World Series, he wasn't on the team. So I don't know, but whatever. They kept getting flip-flop for each other. Bell, Bonds, Clemens, Mattingly, McGriff, Dale Murphy, Palmeiro, Schilling. To me, I can't write the history of the game of baseball without including every one of those.
No doubt.
Crime Dog is one of my favorite first basemen of all time. Just shy of 500 home runs. Ultimate, contact hitter as well as power hitter.
Giants killer.
Staple at first base defensively.
He literally
changed the pennant race
in 1993. Changed the pennant race. He owned Billy Swift.
How about the
Owned
swing
him.
where the right arm, the lead arm would go around the head
Well,
afterwards?
he may be more known for the commercial that played on ESPN all night long.
Yeah, the training videos.
Yeah, the training videos in the blue shirt.
Dude,
Crime Dog.
Crime Dog was one of my favorite players of all time.
He was unbelievable.
Giant
Think
killer.
about how stacked the Padres was. All right, we got Papa Shasky on the line here.
Uh-oh.
Papa Shasky, we'll get to Bob Myers, I promise you. We're going to get to Bob Myers sound in just a
But
second.
shouldn't they all be in? Before we go to my dad, these guys all should be in. Don Mattingly was the captain of the Yankees for years and years and years and years and years.
Don't get me started on the Baseball Hall of Fame.
All these guys should be in.
I've been fighting for Fred McGriff and Gary Sheffield. Forget Bonds and Clemens for a second.
Yeah.
They're no doubt Hall of Famers.
Yes.
They're no doubt Hall of Famers. But Fred McGriff and Gary Sheffield, we just throw them to the side. Even Jeff Kent from crying. I've been crying for Jeff Kent. The 5-year run at second base is one of the greatest 5-year runs at second base in the history of the game.
I know.
The Giants don't win without Jeff Kent.
Altuve's breaking Kent's records.
I know. And he's going to walk into
For a
Cooperstown.
5-6 year run.
And he's going to walk into Cooperstown.
I
So
know.
where's the love for Jeff
I
Kent?
don't
Where's the
know.
love for Fred McGriff? Where's the love for Gary Sheffield?
Everywhere
It bothers
Kent went,
me.
they won.
It does bother me when those guys
I
are not
know.
in the Hall of
I'm
Fame.
with you.
Let's go to Papa Shasky here. Papa Shasky, I actually thought about you watching this Willie Mays doc, and then I saw his Facebook status this morning
What'd he
about
say?
he's just talking about the Willie Mays doc because as we shared, Papa Shasky, good morning to you. I know JoJo cried. I cried. I couldn't believe I was crying last night. I didn't tell Ed this, but I was choking up watching the end of that documentary. It was that special last night watching the Willie Mays doc on HBO Max.
Good morning, fellas. It's great to listen to you and talk to you this morning about that doc. I happened to get on right at 6 o'clock when it came on, and I was wondering if you were watching that, but I'm watching that, and there's a couple things that stood out to me. The very first is he's sitting on his dad's lap when he was a little kid, and that reminds me of you, JoJo, when we used to go out to the games. He used to take you out, and we sit on Wednesday afternoons out at Candlestick.
The family pavilion.
Yeah, right. And I got to your first ball when Chris Brown hit that home run.
Yep.
He was playing for the Dodgers.
86.
Right, and so that brought back a lot of family memories, Joe, and a couple things that stood out. There was one hilarious.
Wait, before you go there, this was your favorite player growing up, no doubt about it, right?
Hands down. I mean, that's who I idolized. I mean, when he came here, I was, when he came here in '58, I was 1 year old, right? So, growing up, and he was it here, and I remember when then the doctor talking about him looking for a place up in Westwood Park in the city. My dad did a plumbing job at a house that he was going to buy at one time. So there was I had a lot of familiarity with the content that they're talking about there, and then him talking about with his dad and you and I and Pat and growing up and the love of baseball and baseball is life. I mean, it was just incredible. And then coming full circle when he interviews Tito Fuentes. Now, Tito Fuentes, I had Juan Marshall's kids went to our grammar school, and Tito Fuentes came to two of my graduating. I've got two photos, snapshots with Tito Fuentes. And then Willie Mays, he talks about cup check. I started laughing about that when he hits him with the tip of the cup, and it was just hilarious. And then at the end, talking about tearjerker, he's talking about the end. I mean, that was so emotional. Yeah. I could resonate on every part of that documentary.
Papa Shasky, let me ask you this. Let me jump in here. The guys who were in it, the cameos from John Shea, Tito Fuentes, even Bob Costas brought his A game.
Yes.
He's dropping words I had to look up in the dictionary. And then Barry Bonds, the way Barry Bonds set the tone for the documentary, and John Miller, the storytelling, I mean, it was well done. It took me 2.5 hours to get through an hour-and-a-half documentary.
Right. And then it was nice to see Willie's son Michael on there.
Yeah, that was special.
I think he gets overshadowed a lot because of Barry, and Barry taking him over to his dad and that whole moment of him wanting to have his dad in his life and then having his godfather in his life. It was just tremendous, just absolutely tremendous documentary.
Well, now, Bobby Bonds for a second. Like, you always talked about how great Bobby could have been. Seeing how fast he's running around the bases, Barry's dad, is pretty incredible, and how Willie took him under his wing.
So when I was a kid, my dad would listen to the game with the transistor radio. My mom would be watching TV, and I would be laying on the floor, in the front room floor, listening to the transistor radio. And I can remember when Bobby Bonds hit his first grand slam, and I'm laying there listening to it, and it was like in the end of the game, and that was a game winner, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It was a phenomenal. I mean, that moment right there grabbed me in baseball. That moment alone grabbed me in baseball.
That was an unbelievable documentary. Just everything about it, from the Negro leagues to the minor leagues to playing with the Giants, to the parade in '58 in San Francisco,
catches.
the basket catches. How about him playing stickball?
Instead of his accomplishments, is what kind of player Willie was.
Yeah.
What kind of person he was.
Yeah.
That really brought out a lot of who he was and how he mentored people and how people mentored him, right? And how he shaped his life on some of the other black Negro players that mentored him and showed him what it was to be like to be a ball player.
I mean, just him driving to the stadium, the stickball, the ice cream, the stick, and then going to the stadium, and then how he was going to nightclubs. One thing, he was going to nightclubs, and the bosses are like, "Yo, 9 o'clock, get Willie out of here. You got a game to play. You're not getting in any trouble. You're the guy we're going to protect." It kind of reminded me, not to that extent, but like people looked up. Like when I was walking in the neighborhood growing up on Waller Street, people say, "Hey, Bonte, get off the block, go home, get the hell out of here." Certain people get protected, and the way they protected Willie, and then to see him driving to Candlestick Park, and the kids are right there, and he signed every single baseball. I think a lot of people need to watch the doc and then see him and Stretch and Juan Marichal and the baby bull Orlando Cepeda. I didn't realize how impactful Willie Mays was, because obviously we weren't born, Pops.
Right. So I got one more little anecdote to say. My dad and I were coming back from, my dad was playing in Palo Alto Golf Course every Saturday, and I'm coming back, and I used to go down there with him, and we're driving back towards Candlestick Park from San Mateo, and we pull up along a 4-door gold Mercedes 450 STL, and it says, the license plate say hey. We pull up alongside, and I'm like I was a little kid, and I'm jumping for joy, and he reaches over, and he gives a little wave because I'm giving a thumbs up, and I'm going high five. I mean, those moments I'll never forget.
Yeah, that's great.
And to this day, we just did jerseys for our old man softball team, and he's furious at me that I gave 24 to someone else.
Yeah, I can't believe you would do that to your own dad. Why would you do that to Papa Shasky?
Dad, you're mad, aren't you?
I took Juan Marichal's number. I took 27, seeing that I'm pitching. So
there you go.
No, but those teams back then, I didn't know they were the second best attended games in all of baseball. They were the number one road team in terms of attendance, and just the diversity on that team. You had the Lou brothers. You had obviously Bobby and Willie Mays, Willie McCovey. Like there was so much diversity on that team. It was so unique.
And the second best record too.
Yeah.
In the 60s.
Well, you guys know that when somebody says I got the Willies, you know what that came from? That came from going to bat against Willie Mays and Willie McCovey. That's where I got the Willies.
I didn't know that.
That's incredible.
I didn't know that.
That's incredible. The footage of Joe DiMaggio hitting the 2-home run, the Indian series in '54, with Stretch hitting the line drive to lose the '62 World Series at Candlestick Park against the New York Yankees.
And then how about the last at bat that he didn't get put in?
Yeah. For the Mets, that bothered me. Yogi Berra.
He even said if he would have struck out, so what? At least give him a chance.
Give him a chance. And Bob Costa said, you got to give him his at-bat. His last at-bat ever, series against the Oakland A's? Come on.
Before we get out of here.
I was thinking about the other day when Dusty Baker didn't get Mauricio Dubon in the game in the World Series. I really felt bad for that kid. I thought a chance that he could have at least got to play 3 outs in the field, got an at-bat, maybe a pinch run, but nothing.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Mauricio Dubon.
Come on, we'll be fine. I saw Barry in a different light, and just to see him so I think we've underrated, and I know people inside Bonds' inner circle know this. He's such a baseball historian savant. To see how giddy he was to kind of break down the whole thing, didn't that I don't know, I found that to be really endearing on Barry's behalf.
Well, he didn't want to pass his Godfather's home run record, and then he said to Barry and Willie says, "You got to do it. You've got to do it for your own legacy."
That was incredible.
That was so
and to bring him to San Francisco to see him crying, I went back. I'm going to do it today. I wanted to do it last night, but I realized, damn, it's already 10 o'clock. But I want to watch that introductory press conference again from Barry Bonds, where he's crying and how Willie got him back. And you know what, Papa, before we let you go, give Larry Baer and Peter McGowan credit. They gave Willie Mays a lifetime contract saying, you have to be part of the Giants moving forward. You have to be part of it. You help bring the Giants to San Francisco. There's no San Francisco Giants without Willie Mays. So for them to give him a lifetime contract and have him at spring training every single year, they deserve credit for that.
Yeah, they do. And I got to give MLB credit, too, because they finally named the MVP for the World Series and Willie Mays' name. It's about time they did something like that. And it was fantastic to see that the Mets put his number up on their stadium as well.
Took them long enough.
So, are we going to get Aaron Judge? Like, what's going on here? You want Aaron Judge or what?
You got to have to get more than Aaron Judge. I like the kid from Los Angeles. I'm missing his name.
Trey Turner.
You got to have Trey Turner. You got to get another bat. The
Yeah.
guys you got, there's nobody's going to fear him if he's got nobody protecting him.
I know.
No doubt.
What a great little callback. Thanks for calling in, Pops.
All right, guys, you guys have a great day.
Absolutely. You too, Papa Shasky here on the Morning Roast. We'll get to Bob Myers right now, but don't forget tomorrow, we're going to have people call in and pitch a recruiting pitch as to why Aaron Judge should be a Giant. Why should Aaron Judge sign here? Why should Aaron Judge sign with the Giants? We're going to give you a chance to make your pitch. We'll have some special guests doing that tomorrow as free agency opens in Major League Baseball. Excuse me, Major League Baseball. I almost said the association.